Ever wonder, why do the bad guys want my data? I mean, like the boring stuff, the social media post. Why did anybody care about TikTok? I'm just posting stupid videos about my daily life. Um, Ever wonder why? We're going to talk about why. And trust me, they really want this data. And we're going to talk about what it means and a term called data in aggregate. Coming up next.
Welcome to Tech Topics brought to you by Cybervenger. We help keep small businesses stay protected and compliant with cutting-edge cybersecurity and IT solutions.
All right, so data in aggregate. What does that mean? Aggregate meaning compiled together. So a single piece of information might not be very valuable, but a lot of data like it, just like it, equal level of sensitivity, but collected across a spectrum together might be worth more than the sum of its parts. That's the key concept between data in aggregate. All right, you become aware that data is more valuable than the sum of its parts. Let me give you an example. A book has a certain amount of value. A couple of books on a shelf, okay? What if you need to read a book on, you look at from Webster's dictionary. If it's on my bookshelf, great. If it's not, okay, well, I'll have to go somewhere else and get it, right? But now, where would you go? Would you go to your buddy's house to try and find it there? Would you go to your cousin's house to try and find it? You probably get up and go to a library, right? Because you know that data is going to be there. Not only is it going to be there, but I'm going to date myself here. You can find it in the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah, all that other stuff, right? It's findable. It's not just available. It's convenient. That is a real key part of why modern data collections is so different than it was in the past. Okay. In the old days, let's say you had a little brother and you were proud of him because he made his little league tryouts and he made the team, and you ran around and you tell the barber, you tell the mailman, you tell your buddies at work, because you're proud of them, whatever, and that's totally acceptable. This is normal information that we consider public information. We brag about it. We broadcast it to our neighborhood. Stuff like that all the time. Or maybe you just started dating some girl, like, oh yeah, I got a new girl. Any information like that that you might be willing to share with people that are near strangers, people you only kind of sort of know, like people you would never trust with your bank account information, you trust with this kind of information. And by itself, it's pretty harmless, right? But that data in aggregate, let's think about that now. Now, it's not you and your kid brother. It's not your cousin and his new girlfriend. It's not your mom and her pottery class that she's in. It's everybody's information like that, compiled in an easy to access and search place. Reaching that data now becomes convenient at a scale utterly unthought of in the neighborhood. Neighborhood gossip never was this accessible, and we tend to share neighborhood gossip information online, not understanding the way that information can be used by an adversary. I think I use this as an example in my TikTok video, but I'll bring it up again because it's the first example I can think of. Imagine that our military is engaged in a conflict with some adversary a few years down the road. Imagine now that one of our soldiers, our special forces, trained to resist torture and interrogation, they get captured and they're brave. And this service person looks the enemy in the face. I'd rather die than give you that information. Right out of a movie, right? I mean, there is that kind of bravery in our military. God bless them for that. Now imagine that same person. The interrogator walks in. So, how's your little brother Billy? We heard he made Little League. Congratulations! It's pretty cool, huh? Hey, I heard your cousin Merv, his girlfriend, was going real well with him. That would spook the living hell out of the captured person, because now it's not their life. Now we have an enemy that knows everything about them, everything about their childhood, everything about where they're at. The enemy could then contact cells here in the United States and do something to the family of that captured service person. Now you see with it, and they could do that because It's not just one little piece of information that happened to know about one soldier. It's a library of such information on any soldier they happen to carry, that they capture. They carry this information regularly. They have a giant volume library they can count on to conveniently access the specific information they want right when they want it. So you've got convenience, you've got comprehensivity, you've got timing, combine that all together, and now it transforms the nature of this otherwise low grade, valueless information into a vital tool. It's not just interrogating soldiers that are captured in battle, it can also be influencing political leaders. What about a politician starts talking to an ambassador, and that ambassador starts talking about things they know about them? Or, that's an way to influence. Or what if an adversary is able to just look at a comprehensive number of posts about depression, about economic troubles, sentiment about a certain policy? An adversary will often do punitive actions against us, as we do against our adversaries, with some calculation in mind. Like, okay, we're going to raise tariffs 10% on American corn, right? Is that going to piss off the American voter and make them vote in people that are going to be aggressive to us? Or is that going to push around the administration without actually pissing off the voters, right? How far can we push it? The adversary in question, adversary is the best name I can come up with because it's not necessarily enemy, not necessarily somebody you're in a shooting war with, but someone that you're having conflict with. So your opponent in negotiations might be able to access global social media and scan millions of posts and get a chart and be able to read directly what is the sentiment of the people in the United States regarding our country and our actions against their government. If nobody cares, then maybe we don't do a 10% tariff, maybe we do a 20% tariff. And that actually forces the United States government to make certain political concessions. So you're starting to see how this data in aggregate can be weaponized against the United States. It's a lot to think about. I know it's kind of heady, and people are like, oh, geez, you really go down the rabbit hole here, man. But that's what nations do. They have dozens, if not thousands, of people thinking about this stuff, spending it's their day job. You know, you're not just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Right? It's I love that expression in cybersecurity because it's so true. I don't think there is such a thing as paranoia anymore. Anything you can come up with, somebody's trying it right now. And in the old days, that somebody probably wasn't in your town. You probably didn't have to worry about it. Now we're connected to the world, and that somebody is probably doing it to every town at once. I'm hoping people start to see how the size and scale of access changes the nature of the data. That's what I really want to drive home to people. It's that I get this kind of resistance from people all the time. I'm not sharing anything important. And yeah, in the small town days of 1950s, it was just you and your buddies and your barber down the road and your third grade teacher that you knew, and now you're an adult and you're talking about what you're doing today. Oh, you're catching up on reminiscence. All information that would be valueless, completely safe and benign, no big deal, is now dangerous and weaponizable against you because it has been collected in mass. It's a massive size collection. It's comprehensiveness. It is convenient to access in a searchable way, and it's available to everybody. Anybody can have this information because it's been posted online. So that is the nature of data in aggregate. That's what that means. You can read trends. Like that's a fundamental thinking between all of the cybersecurity that we do as a company for the Department of Defense. I don't build missile guidance systems. You know, none of my customers have anything to do with the stealth technology on the F-35. None of that top secret stuff. But there's a ton of work that we do with companies that have benign stuff, seemingly benign stuff. How long is a battery cable for an Abrams tank? Is it 3 feet? Is it 4 feet? Is it 2 feet? Who cares? It's a battery cable. Every nation in the world knows how to make a battery cable. Seems stupid, right? But that information in aggregate becomes very valuable. Imagine now that the enemy figures out that, hey, we're ordering 10,000 battery cables and they're 1 foot longer than they used to be. What happened? Well, maybe they're moving the engine to a new spot. Now the enemy knows they need to shoot at a different part of the tank. Maybe the fact that we're ordering 10,000 of them means that, hey, we're actively refurbishing and maintaining our tanks. Or maybe we're building new tanks. And they can draw conclusions from large scale, low value data. It's a little bit like high pressure versus high volume, right? The high pressure data, if you will, the high value data is still well protected, but it's small. But low pressure data in large volumes could be just as powerful, sometimes even more so. And it's true with national security data, like, how many cases for a radar system are ordered for Apache helicopters, how many pistol grips for an AR-15 are being produced. Did they change the texture on the pistol grip? Is it smaller? Is it bigger? All this pretty innocuous information. I mean, you could go to a civilian store and as a civilian in America and buy a gun, buy an AR-15 with a certain size pistol grip, and you could change it up. It's not special. You know what I mean? It's not a military secret that pistol grips are a thing, and maybe some people like a certain grip better. It makes it hold on to the gun better. I don't know. I'm making up examples, trying to get a point across here. But if the military does it, it's part of their policy, and it becomes seen in combination with a bunch of other changes, people could start to put that together. And that's just as true with the military technology and military supplies, and that hence why we have NIST 800-171, as it is with civilian. In a way, civilian's almost more important because they can get a read on economics. And quite frankly, again, forgive a little political rant here, warfare is fundamentally economic. It's always economy. Economy of force is like the driving thing. They say logistics win wars, right? Tactics and technology win battles. Logistics win wars. It's because it's all about the economy. So if you can understand the economic effects and public sentiment in a way that you never could have, conveniently, easily, in a timely manner, it changes the value of that data. So that's why your data is so valuable. And that's why we all have to protect it. I hope that helps illustrate that convoluted concept. I'll make it a little bit simpler for folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.